Well, the Center for Urban Families was founded out of my own personal journey. I fell into sort of like the trap that many young men fall into when they don't have strong parental guidance. And for 17 long, hard years, I found myself behind the 8 ball in terms of my involvement with the criminal justice system. Now, I also had a son out of wedlock during that period, and I felt very uncomfortable about the status of our relationship. And I wanted to use that as motivation for changing my life, but also thinking about what I could do to give back to the community. At the Center for Urban Families, we have some primary programs, one being our Responsible Fatherhood program, to identify young men in our community who are fathers, who may or may not be in a relationship with the child's mother. And if he's in the relationship with the child's mother, we want him to understand what it takes to really manage and nurture that relationship.
My sons inspired me to do this.
Secondly, we have a workforce development division. It's called Strive. It's our approach to identifying men and women who think they want to work but not sure quite how to approach it. We want to work with them to acquire the soft skills necessary to get into the labor force, but then to identify the other hard skills, career training and education necessarily to move up the wage scale over time. But even if you can work through the barriers to labor force attachment, then you have to deal with the kind of structural issues, and one of which is like the child support system.
Who has court order child support? All right. What's 3 things?
The child support system that we have today was created when most children in poor families were the children of divorced or separated women. Today, most children in poor families are not born into married couple families. They are born to a low-income mother or father.
And so if you only have a collections mandate and you're only looking to collect and you know that they're dead broke, then there's something structurally flawed.
They are hiding from the system. They're not in the formal employment sector. If they could find a job, it's a situation that goes from bad to worse.
I think as a field, we've done a great job of changing the language to understanding that in many cases they're not dead beat, they're dead broke.
Not paying the child support is what? Breaking the law.
We're not talking about absolving them from their financial responsibility to pay, but I think it has to be balanced with their capacity to be able to pay.
When I got locked up in 2004, I had talked to him.
Sometimes we value the economic contribution that the dads make more than we value the physical connection between the father and the child. We want to bridge those two worlds between the financial obligation and the connection in terms of nurturing that happens between the father and a child.
There is this myth that fathers who don't live with their children are not engaged in their children's lives.
I just don't believe that. That's not my experience. I've been engaged in this work since the early 1990s, and what I see from young men is that I want to do best for my children, but there are things in this world that have prevented me from doing it, and I don't know how to negotiate those things.
Many of the fathers want that opportunity. They've got to feel like they're respected and that they have a place that they can go to some trust to get the services that they need.
So guys may come to us, in a couple of different ways. We talk to him about the services that we offer, and it intrigues him enough that he trusts us to come through the door to test us out.
They have staff who in some cases have gone through life themselves, have come on the other side, on the positive side of it, and can then now help somebody from that vantage point.
Most of the people work here are indigenous to some of the situations that the men face. We believe in what we do.
So when a young man comes in and he questions whether or not we are authentic, he can look around and eventually he'll see somebody that he knows. We're going to put an arm around his shoulder and we're going to give him a lot of love and a lot of support.
The support that we offer mainly is to help them just take a good look at themselves and to begin to believe in themselves once again, that they can do some things.
God, grant me the serenity.
The easy thing to do is to be able to tell, can you recruit people into your program? That's an easy yes or no.
Enrollment is not the bottom line here. Impact is what is going to get you money. Because responsible fatherhood programs haven't had rigorous tests of their effectiveness, they have been in danger and have been losing the ability to raise money over the last 15 years or more.
So we partnered with Columbia University to develop a evidence-based curriculum that will allow us to determine how a father's engagement with his child is measured.
CFUF learned a lot about ways to improve its child support intermediation services with the state of Maryland, as did the state of Maryland. But now I think it's sort of time to move to the next stage and to pass that information on to other practitioners around the country. This whole idea of evidence-based practice has captured public and private funders. They want to know, can you demonstrate by rigorous research that your programs are effective, and then we will replicate those kinds of programs from one place to another.
Every community thinks that they're unique, and there's this little smile that I think came across Joe's face when I started to talk to him about how unique we are. And I think, again, it was reassuring in my conversations with CFUF.
They do have a hand and a finger on the pulse of what fathers, as well as mothers, are saying around the needs of dads being involved. And they can take that local approach, and they've been able to have a national impact.
Baltimore's not unique. Many of the problems and challenges that the folks that come here for services face are faced by people in other communities. So we think it has applicability, across different communities in the country.
We've had them up for trainings on multiple occasions, and intuitively, they bring an energy, innovation, but also they bring a real perspective. So CFUF, in my opinion, is the premier training and technical assistance provider in the country.
People have asked us, well, Joe, how do you do that? Can you come visit us and share with us what you do? And to some degree, we've been able to do that, but our capacity to do that without a structure in place to do so was very challenging. So we're very, very fortunate that we were able to partner with the Open Society Foundation to be able to create a dedicated division to provide training and technical assistance through the National Practitioners Leadership Institute. And that is a way for us to expose people to the work that we do on the ground. If you challenge yourself and you really take advantage of this opportunity to participate in this model, you will get exposure to a network of individuals who have experiences that are greater than yours, that will help you build the competency to be a seasoned practitioner.
There are still people to be recruited to help us in the fatherhood movement. The opportunity for folks to train, to be trained, has not been done like it's going to be done through MPLI. And so I think the success of our movement has been great to date, but I think MPLI is going to take it over the top over the next couple of years.